Just last December, the world lost Nelson Mandela at the age of 95. Undoubtedly, he left a far-reaching legacy in South Africa and also around the globe. One individual who knows that well is Sharon Katz. Her multicultural South African band, Sharon Katz and the Peace Train, helped Mandela end apartheid. The documentary When Voices Meet tells the story of the Peace Train and Sharon's battle living in South Africa during Mandela's leadership. Sharon, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here.
Well, it's really my pleasure. I want to just look at some of what you've done because I think it's really amazing. You were born at a time and lived at a time when people of different races in South Africa didn't come together and didn't live together, didn't socialize together, let alone play music or do anything like that. So how did you get that idea in the first place?
Well, as you said, I grew up in apartheid South Africa and all races were divided by law. This was a painful thing for me as a child to know that I couldn't mix with children of other races, that it was against the law. It didn't make sense to me. So as a child, I actually broke the laws to visit my friends in black townships. I had met a group of actors that were working with Athol Fugard. Come from a place called Port Elizabeth, which is also where Athol Fugard comes from, and he was training actors in a black township. It was strictly illegal to go there. But I made it up my mind that I was going to break the laws, which I did. My friends hid me at the back of their cars to go and visit with them, and that's how I became aware. That was my awakening of how are people living, how are the black people of South Africa, and any race for that matter that was not white, how were people able to overcome these laws? How were they able to overcome the apartheid discriminatory laws? So this was what propelled me forward to know that one day, when Nelson Mandela was released from prison, one day I would be able to also help my country.
And it's amazing because you actually knew that, learned that, felt that from a very early time and were able to pursue that. And then what you did was also just something that was unheard of in South Africa. You brought together, well, you have music, your band and you brought together 500 children from all different races that had never ever done before and brought them together into a choir to sing. And I saw a clip of with the Peace Train and what they did. And not only did you do that, but then you took this train with these children. What impact did that have on the children and their families and everybody else in South Africa?
Yeah, these are great questions. Thank you. I think it had an enormous impact because, first of all, people had never had that opportunity to mix across the color line in such a huge way. I brought the children together to sing together as a metaphor for the harmony that we were trying to accomplish now in the new South Africa, where for the first time all of these laws were changing. For the first time, apartheid, now the laws were changing and Mandela was free. We were going to be living together in a new democratic South Africa. And it was astounding just how quickly through, I think because of the music, but how quickly these wonderful relationships were formed between children across the color line. And absolutely for me, it was just my joy to be the one to facilitate these relationships because I had never had that opportunity when I was growing up. In South Africa, this was illegal. To have a black friend was illegal. So for me, it was thrilling to be the one to make that happen and to give children opportunity.
You talk about music and bringing them together. They were dancing and singing. Do you mind if we show a clip of that?
Oh,
because I think it's wonderful. When Voices Meet, it's so powerful.
Sharon Katz, born in racist South Africa, who seemed to have missed it all.
Sharon was willing to come to our location, and yet white people never thought of doing that in those days. And it was very dangerous for her to go there.
She was too passionate about humanity. She understood human dignity and respect. That's what we needed. South Africans who simply ignored apartheid.
There was one group of children that came from the most impoverished area, and I used to go and sing with them. These children who have never seen electricity, didn't have running water, could barely have any food to eat. And they were so happy. The smiles on these children's faces, it says a lot about how the human spirit can triumph over very difficult circumstances if there's music.
You know, it takes someone like a Sharon Katz no, seriously, to be able to make those kinds of changes and to have the courage, despite what the laws are and what's going on, to move past that, to bring people into a whole different orientation with one another and with freedom. What were the responses and the reactions of some of the children and their families during that time, Sharon?
Oh, the children and their families just embraced this project by and large. Of course, we did have opposition from some communities, particularly the white communities. I think that because they had the most to lose, supposedly. Right. But across the board, people wanted to come together. And as my friend John Carney said in that interview, John was the person that I used to go and visit. He was an actor when I was young. But when I interviewed him last year, he said that these laws needed to be broken, and people needed to break these laws to show that they were wrong. And the project had an enormous impact on the lives of everybody that were a part of it, and there were thousands of people that were a part of it, because it wasn't only the 500 children that were in the choir, it was their families, it was their communities, it was their schools. It had a huge impact in the city of Durban, where we staged this project, and around the country.
So everybody got involved, and everybody was changed and transformed by that experience.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Because when we went out to schools, the whole school would be buzzing about the arrival of this white woman singing in African languages and so on. It was different. It was something completely different in South Africa. And we did have the huge impact because we managed to mount the production to go around the country by train. That's where we got the name, the Peace Train.
Right.
And we've kept that name for the project ever since.
And I remember seeing the clip, a little bit of of the movie that's about to come out this year, hopefully, right? Which
yes,
is
this
incredible.
year.
And in each car, the children are from all different races, and there they are, they're traveling all through South Africa and learning about one another and singing and also dancing.
Exactly.
You met Nelson Mandela. What was that experience like?
Well, meeting Mandela has defined my life. Really and truly, I was already impassioned before I met him. But since meeting him, which was over 20 years ago, I know that I have had to carry that flame. Meeting Mandela for me was a huge, huge moment when he said, Sharon, you embody the spirit of the African National Congress and the struggle that we've had for all of these years to build a non-racial democracy in South Africa. Continue. He said, go on with this work.
And you know what? You are going on, and you are a flame, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Power Your Life will return in a moment. That's it for Power Your Life. Next time, how to beat the blues, the winter blues. A local doctor offers great tips to staying happy and healthy this time of year. Plus, meet Philadelphia's entertainment legend and philanthropist, Cal Rudman. Remember that you have the power to power your dreams and power your life.